Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Now on News 4 Today, assassination attempt.
He's going down!
Former President Trump alive this morning by mere inches, his ear bloodied, a fist raised as the Secret Service pulled him to safety.
And my son's like, God, get down.
I knew there were gunshots. I couldn't tell from where they were coming from.
This morning, the shooter identified, a 20-year-old from a Pittsburgh suburb. His motive, unclear, but condemnation coming from all parties.
It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening.
Right now, the latest from the White House, the Trump campaign, and local leaders here in the DMV.
Plus what we know about the spectators who were shot and the law enforcement response.
Law enforcement, I believe, acted heroically.
News 4 Today begins with breaking news.
It is 9 o'clock, and good morning to you on this somber Sunday morning. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm Adam Tuss.
I'm Millette Green. Shock waves are still being felt throughout the country after a gunman opened fire at a Trump campaign rally in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we know one person is dead, and the former president was shot in the right ear. 2 spectators are also seriously hurt.
Now, here's the moment it happened. Take a look.
Well, want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
You can hear some of the panic there. The Secret Service says that it killed the suspected shooter who attacked from an elevated position outside the rally venue. The FBI identified that shooter as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks from Pennsylvania. Now, we do expect to learn much more about Crooks in the coming days and how he was able to be in a position to take the shots at the rally.
Yeah, just before midnight, we heard from law enforcement for the very first time, learning the FBI will lead the investigation.
We do not currently have an identified motive, although our investigators are working tirelessly to attempt to identify what that motive was.
The scene of the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania remains an active crime scene, and the FBI is calling in resources from around the country, including Quantico, Virginia.
Now, former President Trump is in New Jersey this morning. Here's some video of him getting off his plane in Newark, able to descend the stairs there on his own after being checked out by doctors. He posted on Truth Social this morning saying, quote, "It was God alone who prevented the unthinkable."
Trump and President Biden spoke by phone. Biden called the shooting sick and condemned political violence in an address to the nation last night. He is back at the White House now after cutting his weekend in Delaware short following the assassination attempt. The president also spoke with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Butler Mayor Bob Dandoy.
Now, the Republican National Convention, that is set to start tomorrow in Milwaukee. Former President Trump still plans to attend, according to a statement by his campaign. There is no word yet on specific security changes around that venue, but you can be sure that that is something that is definitely going to happen. Now, the shooting immediately sparked concerns that the already heated election cycle could lead to more violence.
Right, and that has elected leaders from both sides of the aisle voicing outrage. News 4's Bree Jackson has more now from the side of the RNC in Milwaukee.
Good morning. This is a sprawling investigation. The FBI has identified the suspect as a 20-year-old Pennsylvania man. He was killed on the scene by law enforcement.
Take a look at what happened.
A terrifying scene as former President Trump is rushed off the stage following an apparent assassination attempt during a rally in Pennsylvania, killing one spectator and blooding Trump's ear.
The FBI has maintained the lead on the attempted assassination.
Federal authorities identified the suspect as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, Cell video taken after the shooting appears to show his body on the roof of a building near the Trump rally.
And I was watching the president, and you hear the gunshots go off.
A Trump spokesperson says the former president is doing fine. He traveled to his home in New Jersey and thanked law enforcement in an online statement after the incident. President Biden condemned the violence.
The idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody.
The shooting comes ahead of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. One woman I spoke with became emotional.
I'm sick to my stomach. It literally made my stomach immediately go into a knot. It makes me so sad. It makes me mad. I'm disappointed. I'm embarrassed.
She's urging Americans to put their political differences aside.
Love the ones who vote different than you. Love the ones who vote the same as you. Love the ones who choose not to vote at all. We've got to get hate out of our vocabulary.
Calls for unity and peace are going out across the country. And President Biden spoke with former President Trump by phone last night. The Republican National Convention kicks off here in Milwaukee on Monday. Now, even before this event, the security was already heightened here in Milwaukee. Now, after the assassination attempt, we are expecting it to be ramped up even more. In Milwaukee, Bree Jackson, back to you.
Thank you so much, Bree, for that. We do have continuing coverage of former President Donald Trump's assassination attempt.
Yeah, you know, this morning we're hearing from local reactions here, people in our area. News 4's Derek Ward live outside the White House this morning with how that's all going. And I imagine there's a lot of talk outside the White House this morning, Derek.
Indeed, there is, and you can see the crowd here, and this is because the pedestrian access to Lafayette Park and Pennsylvania Avenue on the other side has been barred. Now, this is not what we had for the NATO summit. Smaller barricades, but no less restrictive. And, of course, this is because of what happened in Pennsylvania yesterday, an increased security footage all over the city. Now, take a look at some video from that rally again. We all know the toll. One rally attendee was killed, 2 others were injured. And we understand in a statement from Congressman Ronnie Jackson of Texas that his nephew was among the injured. Now, his wound is described as a graze wound to the neck, and apparently he is doing okay. But the gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Pennsylvania, he was killed by Secret Service agents. We still don't realize, we still don't understand why he did that. In the ensuing days, the investigation by the FBI may reveal that. It may not, but we are getting more statements now coming in, especially from local elected officials. Former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, who is a Republican Senate candidate, wrote that we are praying that President Trump and all in attendance are safe. Political violence must be universally condemned. America is a tinderbox right now, and this must stop. And we also have a statement from Prince George's County Executive and Democratic Senate candidate Angela Also Brooks, who says, as a nation, we must come together to condemn this kind of political violence. It has no place in America. Our prayers are with President Trump. And we've also talked to some folks who just came to D.C. to see the sights and found themselves amid the reaction to what happened in Pennsylvania. Take a look.
It was just a little shocking. No one's tried to assassinate a president in a very, very long time.
We're attempting to shoot a former president because we're afraid that he may get back into that seat again, you know? And is that the world that we're living in today? If it is, this is a sad place, right? And this place needs God, is what this place needs.
It's a scary time. Height of the election season, you know, with so much going on in the world, it's very concerning.
Now, we don't know how long this increased security footing will last, but for now, at least for the rest of today and probably the rest of this week, this will be the new paradigm. We are live outside Lafayette Park. Derek Ward, News 4. Back to you.
All right, Derek, thank you so much. And our coverage of this assassination attempt continues here on News 4 today.
Yeah, we have plenty more coming up. We're going to hear from Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, as well as we continue to follow this breaking news, the assassination attempt on former President Trump. All right, 9:09 now on this Sunday morning. And Let's turn to something else that we've all been talking about, the hot weather for sure.
Oh, yeah, and things are going to get really, really hot as we get into the work week, too.
Especially in the upcoming days where the actual air temperature is expected to reach 100. I'm not even talking about the heat index yet, but looking outside this morning, not at 100 just yet, but we do have abundant sunshine, blue skies, a gorgeous shot of the National Harbor here. 85 degrees already on the warm side with that high dew point in the 70s, a tropical-like air mass, which will aid in making it feel much hotter as we head into the afternoon. But maybe you're about to go head to brunch. Within the next hour, we're still in the 80s, upper 80s. We're keeping the sunshine, maybe a fluffy cloud here and there, not blocking the sunshine. Sunshine will be coming in quite nicely. Heading into the afternoon hours, getting into the lower 90s. And even before the afternoon, already at 90 later this morning at 11 a.m. So midday already in the 90s, peaking at 96 degrees. But again, humidity will be a big player in how it feels outside and will help to produce a few isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, keeping the humidity on high for tomorrow. And we have a good bit of humidity as we move toward the middle of the week with an increased chance for showers. I'll have more on your heat index forecast or how it will feel. More news and weather after the break, so stick with us.